Now, the implications of this actually get expounded upon when this theory came out. The first person to ever extrapolate the theory that, in the 70s, 80s, late 70s, early 80s, that the human mind could be, that a holographic model would be the best for the human mind, as well as the holographic model of the universe. And why that made sense is because, see, they started doing some research on holograms, and what they found is to first understand this, you need to understand how the difference between like focusing information in terms of a laser versus a lamp, right? So for a lamp, you have this one thing, and you take it and you kind of blow it up and you shoot it out, and it's at different frequencies because of the way it's emitted. But if you have a laser, what you're actually doing is you're focusing all that information, that energy, because energy and information are synonymous in this sense, because that's what energy is. It's pure information. Pure information is pure energy. And so what you do is, for example, in terms of a laser, you're focusing all that energy at one frequency along the same channel. So that's how you're able to do it. So that's also the same way that they try to get into these meditative states, is they try to synchronize you on that one frequency, that one same channel, because the results become much more intense and strong because of that focusing, right? So what they then do is they then did work on holograms, because how a hologram works is a concentrated piece of information. But how it works is the whole picture is represented by all of its components, because every component of it will have the same channeled information as this thing focused up here, as the information as the whole. So let's say you have a hologram here, right? If you take a piece of that hologram and cut out a piece of that hologram and put it over here and project that hologram over here, you will actually still retain the whole image, and you'll be able to observe the entire piece in that fraction of the whole hologram, because that's how the whole thing works. Since the whole thing is one algorithm, one piece of information, one piece of code, and focus into that hologram, you're able to extrapolate the entire thing from just that component. And they found that our memory is a similar thing. Our memory is a similar component, right? Our human brain. Because the same way on a computer, when you delete something, it doesn't actually go away. It gets just sent somewhere else where it's out of your search bar. Your brain's not going to worry about it. It's kind of like traumatic moments or regressed memory moments that you don't want to remember. Your brain compartmentalizes it and just throws it over there, so it's not even in your vision anymore. But it never really goes anywhere. Even if you delete it, it's still there. You would just need to remove the firewall and search for it. So our memory works that way, and the universe works that way, is what they found. Now, because due to this, they also did some experiments on eggs and toroidal fields, and found that for a corn kernel, a chicken egg, a frog egg, a snake egg, when they would emit energy and waves through it, they would come out the top end and go around and come back in the bottom in like a toroidal field way, in a toroidal way. Now, if you look up Earth's magnetic fields, or the magnetic fields of like a planet per se, these also work in a toroidal field, right? Goes out one way, goes back in. So what Isaac Benkov theorized was that maybe the Big Bang of the universe was like that, where it would go here, loop around, and then come back in here. So it would kind of go like this. You know what I mean? Come out, go around, come back in. Because the way we can observe our universe, we can kind of see ourselves like slipping over an edge almost. As if instead of going like this, maybe we are going around some kind of cusp. So there is some debate for that. Now, that's why he theorized that part. But through the resonance of one's so back to the whole like induced different states of consciousness thing through binaural beats and hemisync. What they found was when you can link yourself in that sense, direct your energy like a laser. You can direct yourself and put yourself on one frequency. When you can resonate your brain waves with your heartbeats and the electromagnetic signal that your heart emits, which is separate from your brain, and your gut also emits one as well. 3 separate electromagnetic fields working in tandem, and you can align your whole body on that same frequency, you are much more likely and much more easily able to tap in and out of these various brainwave states as you see fit. Alpha, theta, gamma, sigma, alpha, beta, theta, gamma, sigma. So when you're able to more get used to being able to align yourself all in one, one frequency, one resonance, you are much more able to tap into these things with ease, with no issue at all, with just complete ease. And from this, they actually achieved out-of-body experiences much more easier with this energy and resonance manipulation. It became much more easier. Through this, they were able to go to what you would call out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming while awake, astral project, and they were able to do this with quite high rates of success. As Wayne M. McDonnell of the Army, United States Army and Central Intelligence Agency observed and practiced himself, CIA agent, Army agent, writing a CIA report. So where they then went with this is they, one important thing they found, which I want to share with you guys, is the fact that they found that trying to gain an out-of-body state, like out-of-body experience, OBE, trying to astral project and like lucid dream while awake, allowed you to get into those deep meditative states much more easily and much faster. You were able to go into those deep meditative states and trance states much more faster and accelerate the results of participants when they tried to make it about, when they tried to make the focus astral projecting and having an out-of-body experience. They found the results were exponentially faster. So that is the main overview that they found. Now, to get a little bit more wooey with it, I'll tell you about some of their techniques. So one technique that they use that I actually used because it's a part of rainbow body meditations by monks that, they can preserve their bodies just by energy, which you can look up. They actually have some of the preserved bodies in museums if you want to go check them. No decay, no nothing, just 600 years in the open air, and their corpse is sitting Indian style in a meditative stance, fine. I use the shape of a gourd, but what you can do is you imagine your body as a balloon, right? And when you breathe in, you have like rainbowish energy, light energy, whatever color and other you want, and you picture your breath with energy coming into your body as you breathe in, and when you breathe out, you picture, like, I guess, not necessarily negative energy, but bad vibes, anything you want leaving your body, anything you think is weighing you down leaving your body, and you'll focus on that, keeping the same breath counts. That's one thing they use. They also use what they call, back what I said with biofeedback. What they'll do is they will picture injured parts of their body and picture just focusing. They found that if they focused like a light blue light-ish kind of thing, and just filling that body part with that good energy and that light blue light, they were able to see less swelling, reddish, like swelled up areas would stop swelling, reddish areas would go down in the redness, and they would cut inflammation down just by thoughts and by this meditative focus. They could observe with just their eyes healing going on. And they actually found that if they did the opposite, if they used red, if they imagined it was red or yellow light, filling that part of their body, they actually would get the opposite effect, and the pain would get worse, the swelling would get worse, inflammation would get worse. So it's a very interesting finding, considering it's, an Army officer with the Central Intelligence Agency thought this was credible and valid enough to actually fund, they actually funded, the CIA and the Army jointly funded an operation to then conduct experiments, trying to repeat these results in the 80s, and they declassified it in 2003 or 2008. If you want to look at any of this paperwork out, I've dropped the names. You can look this up. So it's crazy they found that. They also use what they would call the energy bar technique, which is very reminiscent of, you see old things with like wizards with like magic wands and sticks with crystals on it, some Harry Potter wizardry. It's kind of like that. You imagine that you can create a bar of energy where you can, or like a spiral stick of energy where you can direct and focus then the energy that you can manipulate. And through this, they actually found that they could do, that's how, if you ever look up, like Hindu gurus that can do what they call body scans, like just looking at you in person, they can tell you, oh, your left kidney is failing, and then they'll be right, like they call it body scanning, body mapping. So they attribute that kind of practice to this. They attribute, healing like Reiki with this kind of thing. You're able to channel energy through what they call like an energy band, energy box, energy wand, whatever you want to call it. They're able to channel their energy better because they are using an imaginated instrument to thus channel the energy. They're still using their mind, but they're using like a mental tool to be able to channel it. They also say this is how they can do a thing called remote viewing, which the CIA did an entire separate thing on. If you want to go and look up the TED Talk, there is a dude that got funded by the U.S. military because he had such good success with remote viewing, which is going